The last two Psalms of Book 4, Psalm 105 and 106, tell the story, the same story, of Israel's journey of faith from two different vantages. Psalm 105 deals with the faithfulness of God who gave his promise to Abraham, and it starts with an excited outburst of praise. Oh, give thanks to the Lord, call on his name, make known his deeds among the peoples, sing to him, sing praises to him, tell of all his wondrous deeds, glory in his holy name, let the hearts of those who seek him rejoice. And in verse 9 it focuses on the promise given to Abraham, the covenant he made with Abraham, his sworn promise to Isaac, which he confirmed to Jacob as a statute, to Israel as an everlasting covenant. God's unstoppable purposes that are rightly celebrated with this major chord of praise, this note of triumph that resounds through the psalm, is going to be matched in Psalm 106 by the dealings of the frailty and the sinfulness and the rebelliousness of the people with whom he's dealing. But there's none of that in Psalm 105. This is the focus. God will accomplish his purposes, and it's almost as if the sins of the people are blotted out. Well, that's what God does, isn't it? He actually does blot them out, and he tells a story from that perspective. But it's not a story without suffering and without pain. He sent a man ahead of them, Joseph, who was sold as a slave. His feet were hurt with fetters. His neck was put in a collar of iron. But God had his hand on these people through their sorrows and sufferings until what he said came to pass. The word of the Lord tested him. But God delivered Joseph and gave him the leadership of the nation. And then after Israel, his father, came down to live in Egypt and generations went on, then God brought Moses to deliver them. Verse 26, he sent Moses his servant and Aaron whom he had chosen. They performed his signs, a great list and recounting of the glorious plagues that God poured out on the Egyptians that resulted in deliverance for Israel. He spread a cloud for covering and fire to give them night, they asked, and he brought forth quail and gave them bread from heaven in abundance. He opened the rock and water gushed out. It flowed through the desert like a river, for he remembered his holy promise and Abraham, his servant. So he brought his people out with joy, his chosen ones with singing, and gave them the lands of the nations. And then verse 45, that they might keep his statutes and observe his laws. God was gracious to Israel. God has been gracious to us. In the New Testament, the grace of God comes to us through Jesus Christ, who is the seed of Abraham and the great fulfillment of all that God has promised to him. In him, we receive the Spirit, and we don't inherit a physical land, but we inherit and enter in to the covenant people of God, heirs of Israel, sons of Abraham. And for us, the righteous requirements of the law are fulfilled as we follow the Spirit.